I am really excited about this next summit with Reverend Karen Yee. We have two excellent speakers to introduce Karen. I would first like to introduce Reverend Katie Choy-Wong. Reverend Katie is a BST alum. She received her MDiv in 1980. Reverend Katie is the 2023 recipient of the Cora and John Sparoak President's Award at the 2023 American Baptist Churches Biennial Mission Summit. In addition, Katie recently published a book called Building Lasting Bridges, an updated handbook for intercultural ministries. She is a retired pastor from New Life Christian Fellowship, an American Baptist church in Castro Valley, California. In 2022, she joined BST's Board of Trustees, and as of January 2024, Reverend Katie is the board chair of BST's Trustees. Reverend Katie, thank you for joining us today, and the floor is yours for your remarks.
Yeah, can someone turn my video on? I believe the host took me off. Okay, let me try again. Oh, there we go. Okay. For some reason. Hi, everyone. Good to see everyone. Yeah, I am so glad to be asked to, and honored to be asked to introduce Karen, a very good friend of mine. And I'll just give a little bit of who Karen is and some personal viewpoints of her. As you know, and you probably read, Karen is the senior pastor of New Life Christian Fellowship in Castro Valley, and also the English pastor of the U-Men Friendship Baptist Church in Richmond, which is from the Mien people of Laos, in the country of Laos. She's on the executive board of directors for the American Baptist Home Mission Society and liaison with the Office of the General Secretary, ABC USA. She's a trustee on Rainbow Acres, which is a community for developmentally challenged adults. And she's the convener of the missionary partnership team for our international ministries missionary to Panama, Reverend Ingrid Rodan Roman. She's the treasurer of the Ministers' Council of the Great Bay Area. And as most of you know, she's a renowned speaker and presenter to many of our ABC organizations and elsewhere, including American Baptist Women Ministries, as well as our national youth gatherings, particularly Immerse. Prior to her pastorships, Karen was the associate pastor at First Baptist Alameda and a public school teacher and mentor in the Millbrae School District. She's a graduate from UC Berkeley and also, of course, the seminary here. She also was awarded the Claiborne Hill Award and the Jessie Day Drexler Award for her academic work. As we all know, she's a great scholar. Now, Karen grew up in the church that I grew up in. She became a leader at First Chinese Baptist Church in San Francisco. And Karen was one of those kids in day camp and youth camp where I was privileged to be a counselor at times. She kind of blames me sometimes for what happened to her and her faith. But I was always impressed with her and how she, even as a kid, she understood so much and caught on to things so well. She was always witty and capable of handling anything that's thrown at her, and she always seemed larger than life. She would describe herself as a quiet Asian, which we all know. If you know Karen, she's far from that. She's always been the center of attention ever since she was little and up to now too. Like her father, Jimmy, Karen is very outgoing and just loves to explore new things. But unlike her father, she doesn't wander off. When I was the pastor at New Life, I invited Karen to be our associate because I knew she'd be a great partner. She led our youth and adults on mission trips to New Orleans after Katrina, to Panama, to Puerto Rico, to Rainbow Acres in Arizona. And she also led our youth in our national youth conferences in Colorado and Washington, D.C. She's a gifted preacher and she can even play guitar, if you don't know that. And what she does need, though, is to practice her Chinese. Karen's goal in life, and her motto is from Micah 6:8, to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with her God. Karen is my friend, and I'm glad that BST is honoring her in this way as an alum of the year, because she deserves it. Thank you, Karen.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Oh, that's what a great way to start this. I'd now like to introduce Reverend Dr. LeAnn Snow-Flesher. She is Vice President of Academics, Dean of the Faculty, and Professor of Biblical Interpretation at BST. She has been on BST's faculty since 1994. So Reverend Karen may or may not have taken a class with her. Dean Flesher's background is wonderfully varied, and her CV is astoundingly impressive. From being a visiting professor in Costa Rica and Panama to leading yearly mission trips to Rwanda over the intercessions in January and pastoring at a Hmong Cambodian refugee church in Minnesota, she brings this experience to the classroom, her work, and research. Recently, since 2016, she is on the advisory committee for the Center for Faith, Food, and Justice at McGee Avenue Baptist Church in Berkeley, California. Her academic work is equally interesting. To highlight a few of her journal articles, topics ranged from theological reflections on the 1619 Project to public theology, the welfare of the city, and reimagining the body of Christ. She is an ordained American Baptist minister. Dean Flesher will now award Reverend Karen Yee Alum of the Year. I'm delighted to turn it over to Dean Flesher. Take it away.
All right. Thank you, Melissa, for that introduction. You have reminded me of things that I had not thought of for a very long time. So I appreciate that very much. Good evening, everyone. Good to have you with us. And thank you for joining us for this wonderful time to come together as alumni. And I am going to just share a little bit more about Karen Tina Yee. I've known Karen since the fall of 1994, when we both began our tenure at Berkeley School of Theology, then called American Baptist Seminary of the West. Karen entered the MDiv program with a rascally bunch of wannabe pastors who became my advisees. I think it made sense to the dean at the time, Eldon Ernst, to give the newest professor the newest students. And since becoming dean at BST, I've been known to do the same thing. However, in reality, what ends up happening is the blind leading the blind. These brand spanking new rascally MDiv students came to my office often, and often in a group, at times to complain about things they did not like, even once to demand that I tell the then dean, Eldon Ernst, to never hire a certain adjunct again, and often to gain my sound wisdom on what they should do and how they should do it. Little did they know, I had no idea what they should do next. But nonetheless, they made it through and have gone on to do some wonderful pastoral and ministry work. As is often the case, newbies that come into an institution together often hang together for life. And that is certainly the case with this 1994 entrant class. I have followed Karen's career from the days of her MDiv internship at First Baptist Church of Alameda, which was my church at the time, which eventually turned into a full-time assistant pastor position. Even still, after reading her brief bio that I received a few days ago, I've learned even more activities that Karen has participated in. And Reverend Katie Choy-Wong has read many of those to us. And so I just want to emphasize, in addition to pastoring her two churches, New Life Christian Fellowship in Castro Valley, as well as being the English-speaking pastor at the Alumni Fellowship Baptist Church in Richmond, it is clear that Karen has been very active in ministry locally, beyond the church, with her colleagues, nationally with the denomination and with her colleagues there, as part of the Ministers' Council, both locally and nationally, in terms of ethnicity in a variety of settings that have been culturally diverse. Denominationally, she's been in several different boards and taken leadership positions in those boards, such as treasurer and president and so on. She has been a part of the Women in Professional Ministry group for the American Baptist Churches USA and an advocate for women. She has worked with youth. She's participated in camping. She's worked with missions. And the list goes on. She has done many, numerous things in addition to pastoring in her congregations. So one might suggest she's a bit of an overachiever. Well, we here at BST applaud Karen's energy and enthusiasm. And she has a lot of enthusiasm for all these projects and ministries. We also want to affirm her message. Over her years of ministry, Karen has consistently brought a social justice message, preaching, teaching, and exhibiting a commitment to equity, inclusivity, hope, and healing. And so, Reverend Karen Tina Yee, today, we bestow upon you Berkeley School of Theology's highest alumni honor, that of Alum of the Year for 2023-2024, with all its rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Thank you for your hard work and service as an American Baptist pastor and minister. Thank you for your years of faithfulness to our alma mater. And thank you for following the call of God in your life through thick and thin, ups and downs, and up to this very moment. Congratulations, Reverend Karen Tina Yee.
Thank you, Katie and LeAnn. Am I supposed to show the award?
If you want to.
They came, actually, Leah came to deliver it to me on Sunday, but I was actually not there. It was the first time I took vacation in like 3 years. But here's the award. It's a clear award. It's kind of hard to see because it's clear. Let's see if I can do this. It's kind of something like that. It's clear. But here's the thing. It came with gloves. So I guess I'm never supposed to touch it. So thank you very much. Am I supposed to talk now, Melissa?
Yes, it is all yours.
All right. Well, first of all, I have to be really honest. When Melissa told me that introducing me was Katie and LeAnn, I got very scared because there's probably not two people who know me more and almost know me too well as Katie and LeAnn. So let me first start off by saying thank you for being kind, because there are so many more things you could have said out loud and both of you did not. So I'll pay you later for keeping some of our secrets. I also want to acknowledge that I'm no longer, after 10 plus years as Ministers' Council Treasurer, I'm no longer treasurer. I have gladly passed that honor on to Nathan. So I think Nathan was on earlier, and I just want to share with you that he has rescued me from that position. And so I'm grateful for that. I guess just to begin, I am grateful, first of all, to God who has placed his calling in my life. I grew up saying there are two things I never wanted to do. I never wanted to be a teacher, and I never wanted to be a pastor. Never tell God what you don't want to do, because I ended up teaching in public school for 8 years, and I am now a pastor, and not just of one church, as you heard, of 2 churches. But I am grateful to God for this calling. And I have to be totally honest, because that's all I can be. I am both humbled and surprised to receive this award, because I personally feel there are so many more people so much more deserving than myself. And I'm not just saying that because it sounds good. I totally don't think I deserve it. And so I was very surprised to receive this. I see myself really as just like a local pastor. I'm just Karen. I could start singing that song. I'm just Karen. Dun, dun. Anyway, I'm just the quiet Asian. I don't see myself as anything special. Again, there are so many more people who seem to rock the world that have come out of this institution. Some of them are on screen right now. I see Asan right there and others, and I just am humbled very much. So I guess one of the things I want to say is I want to share this award really with all of those who poured into my life. One of those you heard from was Reverend Katie Choy-Wong. She was my day camp counselor, and she was my colleague as senior pastor at New Life, and she continues to be my mentor. She continues to be my friend. From her, I developed so much of who I am and how I minister. Another person who poured into my life, you've heard, is the Reverend Dr. LeAnn Snow Flesher, or as I call her, LeAnn. LeAnn, like she said, we arrived together at ABSW, and I was her pastor for 17 plus years. She preached at my ordination, and she was the one who went home and whispered into her husband's ear, get her to be our next intern. And so I'm grateful for all that. And we have shared many Thanksgiving dinners and Christmas dinners together. I too call LeAnn both my mentor and my friend. And so those were two of the most perfect people to introduce me. So good choice, Melissa. I'm grateful for my home church of First Chinese Baptist Church of San Francisco, where the Dr. James Chuck was my senior pastor, as well as my seminary professor. So who gets to have them as baptize you as well as teach you in seminary. I'm also grateful for the Reverend Don Ng, who, by the way, was my youth pastor. So many of you know him as ABC president and other national educational ministry director, but for me, Don was my youth pastor. And now it's grateful to be a colleague and a friend, another mentor and a friend. If you think I name drop, that's what I do. I'm a good name dropper. I have all these people who have poured into my life, and that's who I am. At First Chinese, they gave me the opportunity to minister as a lay leader. It's one of the greatest gifts that any church can do, is to allow their lay people to step up into leadership roles and to allow them to experiment, to fail, and to succeed. It was there at First Chinese that I looked at people like Katie and realized I could do that. Women in ministry was a thing. First Chinese also taught me about our connections to the ABC family. Both James and Don were very committed to our ABC family and to the seminary. So I was able to learn that that's what you do. You serve the denomination, you serve the seminary. And so therefore I volunteered for many of these things. I am presently on the executive board of American Baptist Home Mission Society, American Baptist Women, American Baptist Women in Ministry, Office of General Secretary, and I am. I've been able to serve in all the different categories, and it's been a privilege and an honor. I'm also been blessed to be part of so many congregations, First Chinese, Alameda, New Life, and the Mien Church. And I guess one of the things I have to say is I believe that the congregations have also made me the person I am today as well. They've taught me what it means to love unconditionally. They helped me develop my passion for multicultural and intergenerational ministry. And so I have to thank every person in each of my congregations. And then finally, I just want to thank again BST, not to be confused with BTS, Berkeley School of Theology, for your years of training and learning, grounded in biblical studies. LeAnn was actually the very first class I took in Old Testament. And one of my colleagues to this day calls her the Antichrist, but that's another story that we'll go into. I'm so grateful for BST that's grounded in biblical studies, grounded in social justice, and has the compassion of teaching us how to be a good pastoral care. And so it is at BST where I have developed lifelong collegial friendships. To this day, some of my very good friends are on the screen right now as well. And I am thankful for continued partnership with BST. I've served as a trustee, a teaching pastor, when different groups would come and visit our church, as well as presently working with Valerie as a internship supervisor. So Valerie, thank you again for that opportunity. And Valerie and I also were kind of colleagues and students together as well. And so we go way back as well. I'm grateful for Longshi, who is now my current intern at BST. I praise God for BST and for the work that you are doing among pastors, churches, communities of faith to impact the world. And so I humbly accept this award. And more than that, I am grateful beyond measure. So thank you, everyone, for just even staying tuned and letting me ramble. God bless y'all.
Melissa, do you mind if I ask Karen to hold up the award so I can take a screenshot?
Absolutely.
Okay, Karen, will you hold that up while I get ready and do a screenshot? Okay, here we go. Smile, everybody. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.